We will tear your souls apart.
Okay, well, funny story about Evil Dead 2. Evil Dead 2 is like half remake, half sequel.
True.
They didn't have the rights to the first Evil Dead, so they effectively had to remake the first half. So that's why it's a different cast for the most part. Sans Bruce Campbell, of course. Bruce Campbell does make a return as the Ash character, but the entire first half of Evil Dead 2 is more or less a remake of the first movie. Every time I watch Evil Dead 2, I always skip that part because my headcanon is we've seen Evil Dead 1, so I play it right when Ash hits the tree and is possessed.
Right.
So that's how I watch Evil Dead 2.
Right.
But yeah, Evil Dead 2 is more or less a more goofier version of Evil Dead, where things happen. You know, we get the famous scene where Ash, the evil gets into Ash's hand, and he chops off his hand, and we get Ash with a chainsaw hand.
Right. Groovy.
And I'm just going to talk about, again, just the metamorphosis of the character. This time around, Ash is more confident. He's more wisecracking. He's kind of dumb. He's always been kind of dumb. We finally get the realization of Ash, the Ash that we all know and love.
Yes.
Less cowardly Ash. We also get a archaeologist, right? She's an archaeologist.
Yeah, she's an archaeologist. She's basically the daughter of the guy
who's a daughter of Professor Nomi, who was the original dude that basically unleashed the evil.
Yes.
And what happens is the evil is unleashed, and Ash has to deal with not only a very stupid redneck couple, but evil as well as probably the first like boss character, I'd like to say, the witch in the cellar, which is the archaeologist's mother, actually.
Yes.
Some really cool effects there. The one thing that always sticks out to me is just a funny thing. I don't know if Raimi did it as a goof, but if you ever noticed anybody who's had a good set of ears, if you ever noticed during the transformation scene of the witch, where her neck kind of becomes this stop motion Harryhausen thing, I can't help but notice monkey sounds.
Really?
Sounds of monkey. Go back and watch that scene when she transforms and they're fighting, and listen to the sounds. It's monkey sounds.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't know if that was an intentional goof.
I never noticed
that. The only stock sound that they could find. It's just a really goofy kind of thing. And there are some goofy, slapsticky kind of blending horror moments.
The first time I saw this was in college when I first joined my horror and sci-fi club. Around the time, I was being exposed to different horror films I'd never seen or heard before. We watched Evil Dead 2. I basically went in blind, not knowing anything about it, and then surprised, wow, this was not what I expected. At first, I was thinking, okay, more scary, but I was like, wow, this is more lighthearted and more
it's
comedic.
More goofy. There's more slapstick. It's not totally divested of horror, but it's a lot more slapstick. Even when Ash is dealing with his possessed hand, we get a lot of Three Stooges kind of very slapsticky. There's even a very goofy moment where an eyeball goes flying into somebody's mouth.
Yes.
Very comedically. Or my favorite, and it always reminds me of a dark version of Looney Tunes, when Ash is literally hunting down his hand through the walls.
Yes. Or
it reminds me of Looney Tunes, complete with their mouthful.
Or Addams Family or Tom and Jerry.
Yeah, Tom and Jerry. Tom and Jerry would have been better. And there's just a lot of goofy moments.
I know.
And Evil Dead.
Yeah.
And I think
for some reason, my first view, it did not occur to me to think that it was a semi reboot. Then it continues where it left off, where Ash is being
I completely forgot about it.
Yeah,
I always think that it's a direct sequel, and
no,
I'm like,
same.
actually, no, it's more of a
Right.
requel, right?
Yeah, before the term requel was
Yeah,
a thing back then.
more like a proto requel.
Right. But then again, a lot of Evil Dead fans make the debate about like continuity is not supposed to be taken seriously, and
Yeah, and a lot of fans, myself included, make the joke of it being a different crew who did the exact same thing this time around.
right.
Different universes of different Lindas,
Yeah.
all that kind
Yeah,
of
well,
stuff.
instead of like with this being a small semi reboot, instead of Ash and his friends, it's just Ash and his girlfriend that were.
Like I said, my headcanon, if I had to do a headcanon, is Evil Dead 1 and take out the beginning of Evil Dead 2 and have Evil Dead 2 start where Ash is taken by the evil and bashed against the tree, and you have a straight line, right?
Right.
You have a straight line, and then obviously where you would start Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert is when he goes through the portal.
My dad was telling me, wait till you, like when I first saw it, he said, wait till you see the ending, how it sets up Army of Darkness, and
Yeah, it does. It is a little different.
bro.
But they didn't know at the time they were going to actually do
if you
Army of
also look
Darkness.
if you also look closely at the end, it's Sam Raimi has a small cameo. Actually,
Yes, he does.
he has a small cameo in the first Evil Dead film, believe it or not, too.
Yeah, and Evil Dead 2. What ends up happening is Ash is sent through a portal by accident. Because the portal does not close, the archaeologist dies, and the reason why they opened the portal in the first place is to send the evil back.
Right.
And that sets up Army of Darkness.
Right. I like, again, the effects in this are also amazing too. Like, I like the part when Ash is like going berserk and crazy. The wall with that like moose, I think it was, or deer.
Yeah. The deer head, the lamps,
Yeah.
just stuff flying around.
Yeah. My first,
really
like I
cool
said,
effects.
going back to my first view, I'm asking myself, am I supposed to be laughing at this or take like?
Well, yeah, like I said, it's goofy. It's
Yeah.
goofy. And I think it knows that it is goofy.
Right.
But
Yeah.
Anyway,
Also, thanks to Stephen King for helping to finance this movie.
Yep. Fun fact: Stephen King did finance Evil Dead 2. So
He did.
thank you, Mr. King.
Yes, because when Sam Raimi was having a hard time like to finance Evil Dead 2 after when Crime Wave was not the biggest hit, he thought, okay, I'll go back to making a sequel to Evil Dead, but got so many rejections, and Stephen King was very kind to help him finance Evil Dead 2 because he was a huge fan of the first Evil Dead movie.
Awesome. That's
Yes,
awesome.
it is. It's groovy.
Scooby.
Yes, the beginning of Ash's one-liners in this movie.
Yes, the beginning of the famous Groovy, and the beginning of really, like I said, the defining what defined Ash as a character, like
Right.
the beginning of what makes Ash,
Right.
for sure.
I'll swallow your soul. I'll swallow your soul. Swallow this.
Yeah, one-liners. Yeah. One of my favorite scenes for sure.
Yeah, same. And the character Annie is, if at first she doesn't seem to take a liking to Ash, thinking that he was a murderer, but little did she know what was really going on.
Yeah, and she realizes that pretty quickly. Also, she's just really funny.
Yeah.
There are some genuinely just funny scenes where she's dragging the redneck, and
Yeah.
he can't stop screaming, and she's like, "Oh, shut up!"
Right.
And I just found that
Well-
really funny.
Well, especially how like his girlfriend gets dragged away, and Ash thinks it's too late, but he thinks there was still a chance. But I hate to say it, Ash was kind of right. There was kind of a chance where she was probably dead already.
Yeah, and she was kind of. We'd have to assume that she's probably killed off screen, probably eaten by the tree.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and again, another Wes Craven. There was apparently I never realized if you look closer, there's a Freddy Krueger glove.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to look up a picture though because it's barely noticeable when you're watching this. You don't think about it.
Well, I think we'll get into a little bit of connecting with continuity a little later when we talk about the comic books.
Right.
We'll get into
Also, well, the other thing too, if you remember Nightmare on Elm Street, Nancy was watching Evil Dead on television when she was trying to stay awake.
They possibly could be in the same universe. Who knows?
I don't know. That is just hard to say.
Just a theory.
Yeah.
Anyway, do you want to get into Army of Darkness, or is there anything?
Let's see. Well, like the way the movie ends, like Ash is like, "No, how did I get here?" It's like, "How could I have ended up in this time? Like, why?" It's like he's cursed.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is he's always been kind of cursed and he's always kind of being sent to a different time and stuff like that.
Right. Also,
I'll talk about the series as well. I want to get into the series.
But believe it or not, there's a deleted scene where that was cut for some reason. That Ash was eating the character Annie like sees him outside when he's possessed, and he eats a squirrel. But I don't know if it's a real squirrel, obviously, but
Interesting.
yeah. Yeah, could have. It's like, it could have gone either way. It's like, yeah, maybe I'm glad they cut this. It's like, was it really necessary? Maybe not.
It's not really important.
Yeah, exactly. It's not that important to the story where Annie just found him outside eating a squirrel because he was possessed.
And he, it's really the only time he really gets possessed.
That's true.
He kind of sort of gets possessed again in Army of Darkness, kind of.
Yeah, true to some degree.
We'll get into that.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to add before we get into the Army?
Let me see. I think we just about covered everything. Yeah,